The Gypsies and Finding Mbotu. After a few days, spent under the care of cloistered nuns, Kira leaves the convent to return to her life, while the sharpshooter travels to Bacău, Romania, to visit Karina, a young medium who appeared to him in a dream asking for help. Arriving at the gypsy village near the city, Shooter heads directly in search of the tent, or caravan, where the very young fortune-teller, already known several years before, resides. In that gypsy camp, the professional killer doesn't take many risks. Everyone, or almost everyone, knows him. After all, there are only a few people. After being directed to the precise location to find the girl, he goes there. Karina, as mentioned earlier, is a young girl, and since childhood, she discovered she had divinatory gifts, could speak with spirits, and was able to read tarot cards and similar things. Now a woman, she had blossomed in all her beauty, with wavy blonde hair, slightly longer than shoulder height, blue eyes, an athletic physique accompanied by a bust that turned men's heads, and these gifts, in the past, albeit unintentionally, had gotten her into trouble, even though, unlike the Fire Witch, she did everything to go unnoticed. From her, who has an aura practically white as snow, Shooter can perceive a strong, positive energy that also gives a sense of serenity. Arriving at the medium's tent, she greets him warmly, without hiding the joy of seeing the one who had saved her years ago again. Danny then asks what the problem is for which she contacted him in a dream. The gypsy reassures Shooter that it is neither about her nor the camp, but still something serious happening in a country far from Bacău. In turn, Karina was contacted by a sorcerer from a Niger tribe, a certain Mbotu, who urgently needs to speak with the sharpshooter to avert something catastrophic that is about to happen in his country, and mystical forces prevent him from making telepathic contact with sharpshooter, so he sought someone he could trust to contact the champion of God for him. Having learned this, Shooter asks to be told everything Karina knows, then spends the rest of the day and night with the gypsies, having already used his possibility to transport himself metaphysically elsewhere for that day. In those hours, Danny is happy to see how everyone respects the young medium who is called the Ice Angel by her friends. For her appearance, her way of behaving and dressing almost always in white, and also for the gift of being able to cool the temperature. After the waiting time to move to Niger, the sharpshooter sets out in search of Mbotu, a famous sorcerer in the area, and from what Danny can gather, also loved by the population who was and is always helped by the no longer young mage of the Black Continent. The air breathed on the streets of Niamey, where the sharpshooter has gone, is pregnant with tension and fear, mixed with a scorching heat that suffocates the inhabitants, just as the commander of the armed forces Okochu has literally done with some of his political opponents in the coup d'etat that Shooter failed to prevent because he arrived late. In fact, on the night preceding the professional killer's arrival in the capital of Niger, Okochu had already put his plan into action to gain power by attacking all members of the now former government in their sleep, capturing some and slaughtering others, but leaving President Amunike alive to execute him live on TV at noon in front of the entire nation. Even Mbotu couldn't do anything to stop that kind of revolution. A strong negative energy prevents him from acting against Okochu, the same energy that prevented him from telepathically contacting the sharpshooter. Mbotu seems to have understood where that force that blocks his actions comes from, a force so powerful as to stop the strongest sorcerer on the entire African continent. Only Eclise can achieve so much. Once he arrives at Mbotu's tent, just outside the city, up a smiling hill, while the heat splits the stones, Shooter is informed of everything that happened in the city the night before, and in the preceding weeks throughout the country, including the esoteric impediments that the African sorcerer has encountered up to this moment, with the military loyal to Okochu sowing terror among the population, without distinction of social class. Having learned all the necessary news, Shooter is also convinced that for some reason Eclise must be behind that coup d'etat, so he tries to think of an action plan together with Mbotu. The no longer very young mage of Niger is a black man, about 50, bald, and dresses according to the customs of the ancient local tribes, always carrying a staff made from the wood of trees present in the forest near where he lives, a mystical place called Fatal, where not all men like to venture, due to the strange magical forces that are said to inhabit it, and which often did not and still do not allow those who dare to enter the depths of their forest to return, except for a very few men, including Mbotu, who grew up in that forest.